Hi, this is Ed LaFlamme, head harvester from the East Coast.
Head harvester Bill Arman from the West Coast.
You know, Bill, that was an awesome meeting we had today.
We did, didn't we?
It really, really was. I know a lot of people complain about meetings, but that meeting, I'll tell you, we got it rocked, huh?
Yeah, you know, I used to be part of a company, and it's called Environmental Care at one time, the division. Mm-hmm. And we had so many meetings, we called it environmental meeting, to have a meeting to decide we're going to have our meetings. But meetings are important.
There's really are.
Some good topics, like making decisions. That's good for a meeting.
Yeah.
Right? Solving problems or challenges. There's no problems out there. These are just opportunities or challenges
Absolutely.
that we say at the Harvest Group, right? And then sharing customers' concerns, or following up with customers, or sharing positive experiences with customers. And I think another one that's very important is safety. So those are some really important reasons to have meetings. And a lot of it is collaboration. We call it collaboration, coordination, and commitment, and all those kind of things. You get more people committed when we know what's going on, right?
Yeah. But I think it's true, and you have to see if you agree, that many managers and owners say that the meetings go on and on and on. They don't make any decisions.
Yeah.
There's one person that dominates the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And they just hate going to meetings.
They do, and they go on. They just talk about this, and you know what? They spend more time whining and talking than getting down to what the meeting's is all about, and who's going to be assigned, what's going to happen after that.
Yep.
So, some examples. Can you give us some examples?
Well, I think
what's a good meeting look like?
Well, yeah. The reason they don't have a good meeting is they're not following a format, and that's the key. First of all, you need an agenda, right?
Yeah.
So, and it doesn't have to be rigid. It could just be a loose agenda that they use every week. And then what they should do is when they sit down, everybody looks at the agenda and see who put what on the agenda, because usually whoever put a piece on there, they should say who did that. Then they want to ask, first thing, is there anything else to add? Okay, so you're not being rigid about it. Is there anything else to add? Then, of course, you want to prioritize it, because you want to put the most important things first to cover. The least important things, if you don't get to them this week, you can do it next week, okay?
Yeah.
So that's key. That's all very important. Then you want to make sure that the people take notes, and of course, you want to look at the notes from last week. That's the key. That's the first thing. After you review the agenda items, for this week, you want to go back to last week and review the points. And of course, the points are the same thing we just talked about. Okay, what was the agenda item? Who was responsible for that action? How long is it supposed to take? And are there resources that are needed, like money, or it could be machinery, or whatever it is, You need to get the resources done. And if you can follow that format, and they don't dominate the meeting, that's so key, isn't it?
Yeah, it's important. And part of it is having the right people at the meeting. Sometimes you drag a salesperson through a whole operations meeting. They don't necessarily need to be there. So make sure you have the right people attending at the right agenda and the right meeting that you have it scheduled there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've seen that a lot, yeah. People are like salespeople at a staff meeting that has nothing to do with sales.
Right.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Well, so once again, we talked about this before, stop whining, start winning. So really, if you have an issue that you're dealing with, define the issue in a short period of time, and then resolve the problem with a longer
10%.
The 10-90 instead of 90-10.
Exactly.
So 10% on identifying the issue, the problem, 90% on the energy spent on solving it, or a game plan to solve it. Does that make sense?
That's good stuff.
Wow, good stuff. So, and then another thing, if you get stuck on something, we used to call it the parking lot.
Park it, yeah.
So you say, listen, we need to probably put that in the parking lot so we don't interrupt the rest of the meeting, because we want to start on time, we want to end on time.
Perfect.
So parking lot would be sometimes a good solution for that.
And have a separate meeting for that one item if it's going to take that long.
Maybe a couple people stay over after that or something like that. But figure that out.
Perfect.
Yeah, so don't mess with your meetings too much, guys, because they can waste a lot of time if you aren't organized, have a good agenda, start on time, end on time, get people involved.
And if you're too busy, sometimes they stop having meetings.
Yeah.
That's just horrendous.
Yeah.
Really.
You really need to communicate, and I think that's one of the things we see in our surveys. especially from leaders out there. They're not communicating, or no communication, bad communication, or too much communication. So which one are you? Hopefully it's not all three of those, right?
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you shouldn't ever be too busy not to have meetings, because if you do that, then you're going to lose the communication. You're going to have a lot of problems as a result of not having the meetings.
Yeah, and sometimes, maybe you don't have to do it every week. Maybe it's every other week. So look at the frequency as well, depending on the situation that you're addressing. So
Good point.
frequency may be different as well.
Depending on the meeting.
One might be a monthly, might be a quarterly financial review. Maybe I like sales, but I meet almost every day with my salesperson, one-on-one, mano-a-mano, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point. Good
So head harvester Bill Arman from the West Coast.
Head Officer Ed LaFlamme from the East Coast.
Ed, we've got a meeting and we're late, so we better be on time. Get over it. Come on, let's
All
go.
right, let's go.